Chosen ones, listen carefully. There is a quiet pain that comes when the world around you still looks the same, but something inside you knows you are not the same person anymore. The same rooms feel different. The same conversations feel thinner. The same people who once felt familiar now feel distant in a way you cannot easily explain. You are still present, still smiling, still answering messages, still moving through life, but deep inside, a door has already closed. Chosen ones, this is the part of awakening that few people talk about with honesty. It is not always beautiful at first. Sometimes it feels like grief. Sometimes it feels like confusion. Sometimes it feels like you are losing your place in a world you spent years trying to fit into. But what is really happening is not madness. It is not punishment. It is not you becoming too sensitive for life. It is discernment beginning to rise inside you. Once your eyes start opening, you begin seeing patterns you used to ignore just to keep peace. You start noticing what drains you, what deceives you, what was never love, and what only felt safe because it was familiar. And that is why going back becomes impossible. In this message, we are going to walk through why this shift feels so irreversible, why loneliness often comes with it, and why the old door had to close before your real path could appear. If this already feels like it is naming something you have been silently living, subscribe, like, and share this with someone whose eyes are opening too. Number 1. Your eyes opening means you are seeing what you used to survive by ignoring. Your eyes opening does not always begin with some dramatic spiritual moment. Sometimes it begins quietly, in the middle of an ordinary conversation, when you suddenly feel the truth behind the words. Someone is smiling, but your spirit feels the control underneath. A room looks peaceful, but your body senses the tension everyone is pretending not to notice. A relationship looks familiar, but something in you finally admits that familiarity is not the same as safety. This is where the awakening starts to feel uncomfortable. Not because you are imagining things, but because you are no longer able to ignore what you used to ignore in order to belong. Chosen ones, for a long time you may have survived by explaining things away. You called disrespect a bad mood. You called emotional distance normal. You called manipulation love, because you did not want to lose the people attached to it. You stayed in places that drained you, because leaving would have forced you to face how long you had been betraying your own knowing. But when your eyes open, denial begins to lose its power. You start seeing fake peace in family systems. You start hearing the emptiness in shallow friendships. You start noticing the hidden cost of keeping everyone comfortable, while your own soul grows tired. This is not overthinking. This is discernment. This is your inner sight becoming strong enough to tell the difference between what looks calm and what is actually true. And once truth enters the room, the next pain begins, because you realize you cannot simply turn that sight off again. Number 2. You cannot go back because awareness changes the place you are standing from. Once your eyes open, the hardest part is realizing that nothing has to physically change for everything to feel different. You can sit in the same room, hear the same voices, walk the same streets, and still feel as if you are watching your old life from a place you never stood before. The environment may look familiar, but your inner position has shifted. That is why this awakening cannot be treated like a mood. A mood passes. A mood rises and fades, but awareness changes the ground beneath your feet. Once you see the pattern, the mask, the emotional cost, the hidden bargain you are making with your own peace, you may still enter the old places, but you cannot become innocent inside them again. Chosen ones, this is not because you are better than anyone. It is because your consciousness has stepped outside of a cage it once called home. There was a time when old programming could pull you in without resistance. You reacted automatically. You apologized just to keep the peace. You accepted what wounded you because you did not yet know how deeply it was shaping you. But now there is a witness inside you, a quiet observer, a deeper self that notices before you collapse back into the old role. You may still have moments where you repeat an old habit. You may still answer the phone when you know you need space. You may still shrink in a room where your spirit wants to stand tall. But even then, something in you knows. And that knowing is the point of no return, because seeing clearly also means losing the comfort of pretending. Number 3, the grief you feel is the funeral of an older self. The grief that comes after your eyes open is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet enough that you almost judge yourself for feeling it. You sit with people you once laughed with, and nothing is technically wrong, but something in your chest knows the old warmth is gone. You try to enjoy the same places, the same habits, the same conversations, and a strange sadness rises because the life you used to fit inside now feels too small for your spirit. This is one of the most misunderstood parts of awakening. People think growth should only feel powerful, clear, and victorious. But sometimes growth feels like standing at the doorway of a house you once loved, knowing you cannot live there anymore. Chosen ones. This grief does not mean you made the wrong turn. It means something in you has completed its season. You are not mourning weakness. You are mourning an identity that helped you survive. The version of you who ignored red flags, softened your truth, tolerated shallow love, and called exhaustion loyalty, that version carried you as far as it could. So be gentle with yourself. Missing the old you does not mean you want the old pain back. It means you are human enough to feel the weight of becoming someone new. The door of no return is not always slammed shut. Sometimes it closes softly, almost tenderly, because heaven knows you would keep walking backward if the opening remained. And once that door closes, another ache begins. The ache of realizing some people can only love the version of you who never saw clearly. Number 4. Old connections feel different because your spirit can no longer pretend. Old connections begin to feel different when your spirit can no longer act asleep for the comfort of everyone around you. You may still love the people. You may still remember the history. You may still care deeply, but something inside you can no longer perform the version of yourself that made them feel safe, while quietly making you disappear. Family gatherings may start to feel heavy. Friendships may begin to feel shallow. Dating may feel strange, because your soul is no longer impressed by attention that lacks depth. Even workplaces and familiar rooms can feel louder than before, not because the room changed, but because you are no longer numb inside it. Chosen ones. This is where many of you start feeling like the black sheep all over again. Not because you are trying to separate yourself, but because your truth is becoming too strong to keep folding itself into old expectations. You can feel when laughter is forced. You can sense when love is mixed with control. You can notice when people only accept you, as long as you stay small enough for them to understand. This does not mean you are becoming cold. It means your spirit is refusing to keep betraying itself just to preserve a connection that only worked when you were hidden. And if you have felt this exact shift, like, share, and stay close to this channel, because many chosen ones are walking through the same silent separation. You are not losing everyone randomly. Some connections are fading because solitude is about to reveal what their presence was keeping you from hearing. Number 5. The loneliness is not empty space, it is divine protection. The loneliness that comes after your eyes open can feel frightening at first. It can feel like everyone has moved farther away, like your phone is quieter, like the rooms you enter no longer recognize the person you are becoming. And because the silence is so unfamiliar, you may be tempted to call it abandonment. But not every empty space is a loss. Sometimes, empty space is what divine protection looks like before your heart understands it. Chosen ones. There are seasons where God removes noise before He reveals direction. There are seasons where certain people, certain distractions, and certain attachments have to loosen their grip, not because you are being rejected, but because your spirit could not hear truth while it was surrounded by constant performance. You were trying to listen for purpose in rooms that only taught you how to doubt yourself. This solitude is not here to destroy you. It is here to clear you. It removes the false urgency, the emotional dependency, the need to be chosen by people who never truly saw you. And slowly, in that cleared space, something sacred begins to return. Your peace becomes louder. Your intuition becomes cleaner. Your inner authority begins to form. This is why some doors closed without a full explanation. This is why some conversations faded. This is why certain connections stopped feeling available. You may not have understood what you were being protected from, but your soul did. And when solitude stops feeling like punishment, you begin to realize that opened eyes were never only about seeing truth. They were also about being prepared to carry it. Number 6. When God opens eyes, He also reveals responsibility. When God opens your eyes, He is not only giving you relief from deception, He is also giving you responsibility. This is the part that keeps awakening from becoming pride. You were not shown certain truths, so you could stand above people. You were shown them, so you could stop living beneath what was harming your soul. There is a sacred weight that comes with spiritual sight. In Scripture, opened eyes often reveal what was already present, but hidden from ordinary perception. The servant of Elisha could not see the help surrounding him until his eyes were opened. The eyes of understanding are enlightened, so the heart can recognize calling, not just information. Chosen ones. This means your discernment is not a weapon for judgment. It is a lamp for your steps. It helps you know when to stay silent, when to leave, when to forgive without returning, when to love without surrendering your spirit, and when to protect the peace God had to fight through your pain to restore. You are not awakening, so you can become suspicious of everyone. You are awakening, so you can become faithful to truth. Compassion still matters. Humility still matters. Service still matters. But now they must come from clarity, not from fear. Because seeing truth is only the beginning. The deeper test is learning how to carry truth without losing your peace. Number 7. You learn to live awake without losing your peace. There comes a stage where opened eyes must become steady eyes. At first, awareness can feel overwhelming, like every room is speaking too loudly. Every motive feels exposed. Every conversation carries more weight than it used to. You may start wondering how to live in a world you can no longer ignore, without becoming guarded, exhausted, or suspicious of everyone around you. This is where maturity begins. Awakening is not meant to make you afraid of people. It is not meant to turn your sensitivity into a prison. It is meant to teach you how to see clearly and still remain soft where softness is sacred. Chosen ones, the goal is not to go back to denial. The goal is to become rooted enough that truth no longer throws you off balance. This is why grounding matters. This is why silence matters. This is why prayer, rest, boundaries, and emotional discipline become part of your spiritual strength. Your nervous system may need time to adjust to the amount of truth your spirit is now carrying. So be patient with yourself. If the awakening has felt heavy, it does not mean you are failing. It means you are learning how to hold clarity without letting it harden you. You can notice manipulation without becoming bitter. You can sense darkness without fearing it. You can love people without handing them access to your peace. This is the deeper path, not just seeing what is real, but becoming stable enough to live from it. And once peace joins your clarity, you begin to understand why the old you could not be the final you. Number 8. You cannot go back because the old you was never the final you. You cannot go back because the version of you who could survive in blindness was never meant to be the final version of you. That person had a purpose. That person protected you. That person learned how to smile through discomfort, stay quiet in painful rooms, accept crumbs of love, and call it peace. Because at the time, that was all your heart knew how to hold. But now your eyes are open, and everything that happened after that opening has been moving you in one direction. The grief, the distance, the strange loneliness, the sharpened discernment, the relationships that changed, the silence that felt too heavy at first. None of it was random. It was the slow removal of what kept you tied to a life that required you to abandon your own soul. Chosen ones, you are not broken. You are not cursed. You are not too sensitive for this world. You are being led out of a version of life that needed your blindness, and into a version of life that can finally hold your truth. This is why the old door closed. Not because you were rejected by destiny, but because you were being redirected toward yourself. The path ahead may not always be easy, but it is real. And for the first time, you are no longer walking as someone who has to pretend not to see. If this message gave language to your awakening, subscribe, like, share, and comment so another chosen one who feels alone can find it too. Because once your eyes open, the journey is no longer about going back. It is about becoming who you were always being prepared to be.